The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
That's right. Uh-huh. Sports Concepts and Rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. We do it here each and every morning, except on Tuesdays. And at the end, Beef, we're going to hand out a wonderful prize pack that includes what today, friend?
We're going to let people start their weekend the right way. Get ready for Halloween. Have pizza night Friday night with $25 from Donato's Pizza.
Yummy. Love pizza.
Yummy.
Big fan of the pizza. Have you, this is a separate segment in and of itself. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. We call it the Friday 5-pack. But have you, by any chance, taken a gander at the games yet this weekend?
Yeah, of course.
They look, it's a tough week. Like, usually I can look at a schedule over a week, and you might have to narrow down. You like 7, 8 different things. Which ones do you like most?
It's always interesting perspective because I looked at it and I said, I like this one, I like this one, I like this
it's
one.
It's weird how some weeks
But some weeks I sit there like you and I go, oh, God,
yeah.
I don't know what to pick.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a few, but I sometimes I feel the ones I like the most are the ones that don't come in. Case in point, last night, Thursday Night Football gets the week started with Atlanta going to Carolina. Dan, do you realize that if the Falcons had not blown those 3 games, and when you say blow, these are they'd be 5-3 and in the middle of the playoff hunt.
I know.
And if you're Matt Ryan, you're running out of time. Your career, it's terrible to waste these seasons.
What's the worst loss the Falcons had this year?
I'd say the Cowboys only because it's an onside kick who no one ever recovers, and they watch the guy jump on it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the onside kick. It was how they didn't cover it.
So that's worse than, hey, after you get the first down, go down. I got that. Go down.
The one thing that I'll say about Gurley is I think that he thought he was getting tackled on that play. I watched it again yesterday.
Yeah.
So he's like busting through a tackle at the 5, and he thinks he's getting tackled, and instead of getting tackled, he just kind of fell forward a little bit more.
I think
he forgot.
No, I think it was incentive laden.
I don't know if he has a touchdown.
Of course he does. He didn't sign a big deal. I bet you. I would love to see the contract, and I want to know if it was worth. Yeah, we'll still win, and that's $50,000 in my pocket. I don't know. I'm just. You got to wonder.
Of all the Atlanta things all the time, the most Atlanta of ever is that you can't score a touchdown when you need one, and the one time you don't want to, you do.
You mentioned the Cowboys. I mentioned Detroit. You could mention Chicago. I mean, my gosh, to lose to Foles like they lost to was.
No, I know. You just ask me. I say it's the Cowboys because, well, it was the biggest lead with the least amount of time.
Yeah,
and but it wasn't just giving up the onside kick. That can happen. It's the way they gave it up, like the total lack of knowledge that they could jump on the ball, and it was. Yeah. There was never an easier onside kick to recover.
Yeah.
It wasn't bouncing or lurching, and the idiots didn't know that you could jump on it before 10 yards.
Well, this idiot team of yours, your semi-fandom, is going to rally back and once again look back on a season and go, what could have been?
Yeah, this one's worse, though. The other could have beens, last year at this time, Dan, they were getting blown out week to week.
The good news is that's another one-win team with a dub for us. We knew they were way better than the Jags. But I watched a little bit of that game last night. I like Matt Rule. I like what they do. I like taking chances. I like faking punts. I like going for it on 4th down with good play calls. I good for them. They're not that good, but their receivers have done well.
Samuel's gotten a lot better. He was a big part of their game plan last night. Robbie Anderson was a great pickup. I had forgotten or maybe didn't realize Robbie Anderson played for Matt Rule at Baylor. So that's a good or Temple. I don't know, one of the 2 places he played for him. I don't know which. To be honest with you, Robbie Anderson went.
And man, what a
Julio Jones has not gotten enough due in his career.
No,
do you think he has?
Yeah.
Who is the most?
I mean, he's thought of as he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, non-quarterback. Okay, that's where I was going to ask. Non-quarterback. Who's the biggest lock for the Hall of Fame in the NFL?
Right now?
Yeah.
Playing right now?
Current players.
Not a quarterback?
Not quarterback.
Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt.
More than Julio Jones? Adrian Peterson's another one.
Adrian Peterson are all first ballot guys.
I think Adrian Peterson, Julio Jones are by the most no-brainer offensive locks in the NFL. And I guess I know also from this Atlanta perspective, Julio Jones is and Matt Ryan with him. But Julio Jones made the Atlanta Falcons completely reverse their DNA.
Okay.
I mean, Atlanta for up until 2000 and until he got there, 2010, it was just a fly-by-night, awful program. They flared up and went to the Super Bowl the one year in '98. But other than that, I mean, just very, very few playoff appearances. I mean, they didn't even go to the playoffs until 1978. They made it maybe another 2 or 3 times before 1990.
Career receptions for Julio Jones, please.
It's 12 and change.
12 what?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's yards. My bad.
Okay, so anyway, you're asking me career receptions. Yeah, so I'm going to say, and he's been there, 10 years? I'm going to say he's probably, he's probably got 880.
835. So he is 29th all-time, so he'll start moving up the charts. Jimmy Smith is 24th all-time with 862. When Jimmy Smith retired, he was much higher than that.
Yeah.
So he Fitz is...
Fitz is another one, no-brainer.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. He's more of the older. I mean, Julio's still somewhat prime-ish.
Fitz is only 132 receptions behind Jerry Rice.
But this year he's not really hardly part of the offense.
He's winding down. Yeah. He's not going to catch him, but still, I mean, wow. Jason Witten.
What about AB's got 6 more receptions than Julio Jones?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
In like 2 less seasons.
Yep.
He's and if his career ended today, I'm not sure he'd go in the Hall.
Is Keyshawn Johnson a Hall of Famer?
No.
That's what I said.
What about the guy that he's not a receiver? What about the guy that's up there with Larry on the receptions list who's still active?
Who?
The centerpiece of a dime bet last season, Jay Witten.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'll probably go in.
He's a definite Hall of Famer.
It's weird because when you think of him.
Yeah, he may not be a first ballot Hall.
Like,
he's sort of the he's
like,
Frank
wow.
Gore. He's Frank Gore.
Right. You're never like, wow, Jason Witten.
Yeah. He has a great moment though. What Jason Witten has that Hall of Fame moment.
Like where his hair transformed?
No, where his helmet came off and he's running down the field without his helmet.
Oh.
That was great.
I thought you were talking about where he was bald and then
listen, on the text line we're getting a lot of locks and I would agree with a lot of them.
What do you mean?
Well, Frank Gore, they're saying Gronk is another one.
Oh, yeah.
So
There's a lot.
We're not saying are you a lock. We're saying who's a bigger lock.
Yeah. They're all bigger locks than Julio because Julio, that's where your argument would come into play because Julio should be a lock just like the rest of them, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame, but he's not as big a lock as all these guys that we've named, I don't think.
I think if Julio Jones' career ended last night, he would go into the Hall of Fame the first year he was eligible. I think he completely supersedes.
Oh, I would 100% disagree.
Okay.
Would he go in? Yes. Would he go in the first year he's eligible? No.
This is what's wrong with the Hall.
Okay.
Because anybody in the Hall of Fame that thinks Frank Gore is a more valid or better, but you're saying he's first ballot lock.
I didn't say Frank Gore was. I said Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt.
Well, then I'd stop you. Why is Aaron Donald more Hall of Fame lock now than Julio? You're holding the same thing.
Because he's the best player in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't think Julio Jones has ever had that mantelpiece.
Yeah, but not long enough.
Yeah, but for like 2 or 3 years.
Well, so was Tony Baselli. Offensive tackle, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think Tony was ever thought of as the best player in the NFL.
No. Well, and I don't think that neither is Aaron Donald.
Oh, I do. I think when you look at the top 100 they do every year, and number one, Aaron Donald.
And I think that if all the GMs were able to redraft a team right now, in none of the drafts would he go number one. It'd be quarterbacks, the first 10 picks.
But that's not what you said. We weren't talking quarterbacks.
Oh, well, we are now. We're talking about best player in the league. We're going to include everyone. I didn't say he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point, I guess, just from this perspective, take it from an Atlanta historical perspective.
Is Julio Jones better than, let me do it this way. Is Julio Jones better than, or is he better than Fitzgerald? Is he better than Marvin Harrison? Is he better than Tim Brown? Is he better than T.O.? Is he better than...
At the end of the day, we're splitting hairs on all these. These guys are all so great that it's, who's better, T.O. or Julio?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You can make an argument for...
Julio's not scored a ton of touchdowns in his
Torrey
career.
Holt's not in the Hall, right?
No. But is
Torrey Holt a Hall of Famer?
I don't think so.
Did Isaac Bruce just go in?
Yeah.
You don't think Torrey Holt is?
I don't.
Okay.
I didn't think Isaac Bruce was.
Okay.
But they're very good players on very good teams, so that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's
it's
going to the
interesting.
Super Bowls.
Yeah, and that matters too.
Yeah.
What you've done.
And Julio has helped to make Atlanta a perennial playoff contender.
If only they had won that one.
Yeah.
That catch would have been ingrained.
Yeah.
That catch he had
Yeah.
on it was.
No, he's a fantastic. He just showed again last night what a great player he is.
Yeah.
He's coming off an injury. He caught 7 for 113. He could set the tone for him early. Made
He's
big
sort
catches
of.
in the fourth.
I will say this too. He's sort of reestablished himself on that team. Like Ridley had those big games early.
Yeah.
Well, Julio's had like the 3 bigger games of late, and so Julio sort of reestablished himself. All right, kid, I know you're a great player, but so am I. So anyway, but what did you think of Bridgewater?
Last night was not very good.
I think. What about the kid from? I don't know what league it was. What league did we all root for and had a team in?
That was the Alliance of American Football?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see the kid from that league
Seattle
as
Dragons.
the backup?
P.J. Daniels?
No. Walker? P.J. Walker, maybe?
P.J. Walker, I mean.
He's the backup now. He's supplanted Will Greer.
I think he's also – I think he may have been a Matt Rule guy at Temple.
He was the guy who
I think he was Matt Rule's guy when he was at Temple.
He may have been. He was the guy who was wowing him in the whatever league that was where –
One of them.
Yeah, you had Tampa and I had
I don't know which one that was.
Stick Song
I think that was
team.
the XFL.
I had the Stick Song team and Beef was like St. Louis or somebody. Seattle, I think.
I had Seattle, the Dragons.
Yeah. Who did I have? Who's
You had the
Sticks?
Dallas Renegades.
The Renegades.
Jig is up, news is out.
That's right.
Jeff had the mighty Tampa Vipers.
Yeah, they were horrible. The Vipers did nothing.
Like zero, zilch.
Robbie Anderson at Temple.
Yeah. Be careful, Matt Rule. That Spurdog tried that. It didn't work so good.
Yeah, P.J.
Robbie
Walker
Anderson
at
has
Temple
worked
with
a
him
lot
as well.
Yeah.
Robbie Anderson's worked a lot better than anybody Spurrier employed former Gator-wise.
Yeah.
Already Robbie Anderson has done that. You could have won a lot of money if you would have asked before last night's game, and some people saw it during the broadcast, which receiving tandem is combined for the most yards this year. You'd have gone through a lot of guesses before you got to Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore of the Panthers.
What did you want to ask me about baseball?
I have a big problem with A.J. Hinch managing.
Why?
Because he, more than anyone else in that whole Houston thing, was the biggest perpetrator.
Okay.
He knew all along, and as the manager, you're the adult in the room, he allowed his baseball team to cheat and
Will
win
you
a
have
World
the
Series.
same problem with Cora when he goes back to the Sox after his 1-year hiatus?
I'm not sure. I don't.
Because he was widely regarded as the architect of the whole thing.
He was, but he wasn't the manager.
When he was in Houston. Yeah.
Right, in Houston.
He went from Houston, and then he carried that cheating over to Boston.
I get it. Did they do it in Boston also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got in trouble.
Why did he get fired?
Yeah, that's why.
Well, I thought it was from
why.
the Houston carryover. I had fatigue of that whole story
Yeah.
by then.
You guys-
I don't think 1 year away from the game is enough for A.J.
Well, I think
Hinch.
you're unfairly making A.J. Hinch the face of it.
Well, I don't
Unfairly
okay.
a little bit because I think a lot of guys had a lot to do with it. Did he look the other way? Yes. Did he pay his penalty? Yes, because that's what the penalty he was given. So should he be allowed back in? Now, if you want to start the comparisons, that's also a fair argument. Why is this guy not in the Hall? Why is this guy banned from baseball? No, that's okay.
Correct. Other guys cheated.
Seems to be no rhyme or reason
and
there.
they'll suffer a lifetime ban.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that more people are doing it than you know, and if they start banning guys before you know it in a couple years, we're going to have a lot of guys out. We're going to have a lot of guys kicked out of baseball.
I'm not saying maybe he should have a lifetime ban. I'm saying sitting out 1 year is not a penalty.
I know, like, sometimes when we get on a roll and Beef will cheat, he'll bang the trash can to tell us to go to break.
Is that what happens?
We're probably on a roll, and so
Yeah.
but he has yet to be suspended.
I think that
Oops, did I let the cat out of the bag?
I think you're underselling to put him. He is the top of the line, not 100% number one most at fault in my mind.
You could argue that he's still being punished because he's the manager of Detroit.
Well, they're not very good. Although they got better in a short season. Maybe they can play another 60-gamer and they'll be relevant again.
Now he's in baseball purgatory.
But I would put him, though, Dan, as more culpable than any of them. He knew all along he's the manager. He's the adult in the room.
Yeah. That's fair.
So I do think I think he should serve longer.
But it was a
than
1
any
year.
player.
But by rule, he's fine, and he was gonna. I mean, he was a candidate in a lot of places.
I know he was,
and he's very well thought of.
Yeah, I'm going to see how good a manager he is when his team doesn't cheat to win. I mean that.
Maybe they'll find a new way.
So go to – and by the way, A.J. Hinch, enjoy your 3 years and 170 wins in Detroit. You deserve it. Mm-hmm. You freaking cheater.
I have a much bigger problem with what the White Sox are doing. I
have no problem with that one.
I hate Jerry Ryan. It's personal. I hate Jerry Reinsdorf.
By the way, speaking of guys who were the adult in a room on a team that was rampantly cheating, can we talk about Tony LaRussa with the A's?
Yeah. No, that was different. I mean, he probably no one knew what
the room.
Yeah, but he didn't know no one knew what steroids were then.
It's not that it's personal for Tony LaRussa. He's the manager of the 06 Cardinals who beat the New York Metropolitans in the NLCS, so I don't like him there. I don't care that he's old, and it will be funny though to see them bring in somebody who has no relationship with analytics. Does he? Any relationship
he's
at
saying
all
the right things that he'll embrace it and he's on board with it. But
and there's no way a 76-year-old man set in his ways of skippering, who's a Hall of Famer, who's done it better than a lot of other people, is going to suddenly listen to the Ivy League Yale kid tell him, who's the assistant associate director to baseball ops, tell him, you really should have pulled Giolito in the 6th last night, Tony. Shut the hell up and get out of my office.
Do you know who I am?
Give me some coffee and a smoke.
And put some rum in it. I'm an alcoholic.
I mean, we're talking old school 76-year-old Tony LaRussa, and he's going to listen to a 35-year-old wonder kid from the White Sox front office sit down and go over analytics with him every day? I say no.
If you did, I'll pass out my car.
My concern, with all that aside, my concern is that he's a 76-year-old man who hasn't managed in 10 years.
Also
the baseball game has changed a lot, and some of that analytics is why.
Again, I'm just saying.
This is how old Tony LaRussa is.
Yeah.
Tony LaRussa is so old, he had shingles 10 years ago. That's how old Tony is. Yeah, that's how old he is. Here's another problem I have with LaRussa, okay? Has LaRussa not had more than one incident of either a DUI or falling asleep at the wheel, or hasn't he had a few of those? I don't want to speak out of turn.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Okay,
well, he certainly had that. He was like asleep behind the wheel of a car.
2007
car.
2007, suspicion of driving under the influence, found asleep at the wheel behind his running SUV. Of course, that was 2007, and he continued managing the Cardinals. So
old school pros. We used to drink and
That's St. Louis. They don't care.
Look the other way, Tony.
St. Louis
get yourself home.
Actually paid him in Budweiser.
Again, I just want to make it clear. For me, it's all personal.
Right,
Reinsdorf's trying to block my guy from being the owner. I hate him, and Tony LaRussa I hate because he beat us in 06. Otherwise, I don't care.
But
I now hate the White Sox, who were kind of my adopted American League team this year.
I don't think that Tony LaRussa. I don't think he's too old.
Plus, I don't like what they did to Renteria, who again twice now has gotten the deep six for a big name.
Dude, this was 100% Jerry Reinsdorf, who admitted publicly that firing Tony LaRussa in 1986 was his greatest regret as owner of the White Sox.
Correct.
He's fixing that before he dies.
Correct.
This is
terrible, sad old man.
This is how old Tony LaRussa is.
He's so old.
He coached the White Sox when I was in middle school.
But boom.
Seriously.
He's so old, he played center field on Disco Demolition Night. Hey!
I think he was probably coaching then. He may have been the
coach.
I bet he was the manager for Disco Demolition Night. I bet you he was.
It was Disco Demolition Night.
That was probably like 80.
I think it was like late
He got
70s.
the job in 79.
It was no later than 79. I promise, because you understand, I was at the next day. I was supposed to go to a White Sox Tigers doubleheader.
July 12th, 1979.
Yeah, I was at the game that got canceled.
Hold on.
Literally.
Tony LaRussa was the skipper at Disco Demolition Night.
That's how old he is.
And he just got a gig.
He's so old, he wore those old throwback jerseys. For real.
Tony LaRussa was probably the skipper when the White Sox did this, gang. You're going to love this one, all you fans out there. The White Sox one year, as the country was mired in a heat wave, decided it'd be a good idea to have a uniform of shorts. Remember that, Hick? They wore shorts.
They looked like a softball team.
And they looked silly because you'd pull
Didn't
the
it have
socks up
collars,
to
too?
the knees anyway.
Didn't it have a collar as well?
They had a collared shirt at one point. I don't know if that went necessarily with the shorts version. I think they wore the shorts one time and realized, hey, we got to slide. This ain't fun.
By the way, I hate to pile on the White Sox.
Yeah.
Not really, I do. Did you see their social media post announcing Tony LaRussa as the manager? It said, in bold letters, it said LaRussa. And then it had a signature off to the right of his name, which you would assume would be his LaRussa's signature. It was A.J. Hinch's.
Yeah.
Whoops.
That's probably
Whoops-a-daisy.
MLB, isn't it? Who did that?
That was the White Sox. That was their graphic announcing it.
That's hot stove talk,
I was going
baby.
dopes.
Idiots.
God,
Losers.
That's the 10-minute drill.
All right, let's do caller number 3 right now at 641-1010 on a Friday. Beef, tell them what they win, and we'll come back and kick it around, heading towards the Friday 5-pack top of the hour. Lots of good stuff still to go right here on a Football Friday edition of The Drill.
Our lucky winner today, Danny, going to go home with a $25 gift card from Donato's Pizza, celebrating their new location out near Jacksonville Beach. Call now.